Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our series. This is episode 3. We're so excited. We have Allison Adad with us, who is our amazing creative director here at Heartbeat Prayer Room.
How long have you been our creative director?
Literally, since February.
Since February.
And she's doing a great
beautiful.
job.
Yeah. And then I wasn't creative director since October, but that's when we were working on the Heartbeat branding and stuff, which was super cool. But it's been an awesome 3-ish months.
Nice.
Yeah.
Guys, everything you're seeing on our social media, on the graphics, you're seeing little parts of Allison. She's helped us really define who we are as a Heartbeat Prayer Room. She's made, even our logo is each letter is custom made by her. So it's just been amazing to have Allison with us.
I couldn't do it without y'all. We're always in our meetings together, and we bounce off each other so well. So it's been so awesome, learning about creativity through both of you guys.
That's awesome. I feel like we're learning from you too.
Yeah.
Actually. Well, something kind of fun and interesting about you is that you're Yelp Elite.
Dang,
yeah.
That's so cool.
First of all, how did you even get Yelp Elite? I'm so jealous.
Who even knew Yelp Elite
I want to
existed?
be Yelp Elite.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just check how many years I have, because I forgot. I think it's 2 years, or actually this is my 3rd year, I believe. But it basically started with me just starting to leave reviews. I think my friend, she did it, and I was like, oh, I'm going to try it. And I started leaving reviews, and then some person noticed me, a Yelp ambassador or something from San Francisco, because I used to live there. And they're like, hey, your reviews are really good. And I was like, okay, cool. And then he nominated me.
That's
and
so
I
cool.
became Yelp Elite, and it's just been motivating to keep Yelping, because I love trying new food. I think living in San Francisco, there was so many different cultures and food spots, and I really enjoyed the idea of supporting a local business.
That's super cool.
It was just fun writing reviews and trying new food, and now I keep doing it. I've been kind of slow lately though, so I'm praying they don't take my badge away. But
oh, can they do that?
They can do that.
Oh no.
You gotta
wow.
keep up,
The Yelp
That's
police.
wild.
The Yelp police will come after me.
So you're in some form, you're a certified food critic.
In a way, I guess. Yeah. And yeah.
Watch out.
Watch out, y'all.
Do you ever leave
out.
bad
I don't
reviews?
know, food critics.
I think the lowest I'll leave is 2 stars, but it's
Oh, that's
rare.
pretty good.
Most places aren't up and running if you're gonna have a 2-star review. And sometimes I feel really bad that I don't. If it was really bad, I'm in the customer service was good, but maybe it just wasn't up to standard.
The food.
I just feel bad, and I don't leave one because I'm
right.
I don't want to.
That's compassion.
Yeah,
Exactly. That's so true.
Yeah.
Well, something that is very evident, I think, just even talking to you, the fact that you're Yelp Elite, but even just because I think that shows that you have some level of skill, right? With writing, with analyzing things. And also even just everything you make, there's such a heart behind everything you're doing.
It's true.
Something we wanted to ask you is, what did you kind of feel from the Lord when you were designing this graphic that we have right now for our upcoming event, Passion for Jesus, which, by the way, the graphic is beautiful. It looks so
Yes,
good.
I love it. It's so detailed.
Yes.
And I think we'd love to have you share, because I think many people would miss those details, because you're just looking at, there's a really dope graphic.
Yeah.
And even before you answer that, I think that your art comes out in everything you do.
Yeah,
I think, oh
true.
my gosh, your fashion sense, the fact that you love food and can appreciate it. Even if you guys just see, she has a Depop shop, because she's just she loves
I love
thrifting.
Depop.
She loves clothes and fashion, and it's so cool because now you're implementing that in ministry, and you're doing it here
That is
in
so
our
cool.
prayer room. So share with us about the
Yeah.
graphic.
Yeah. So this graphic, I remember you guys told me Passion for Jesus coming up. We just finished with the fundraising dinner, and we got together and we had a little Pinterest brainstorming session, because it's how we start.
Yes.
We start with Pinterest.
Of course.
Shout out. And it was, like I said, I feel all the designs that I do, I can't do it without Sharon and Dano, because they're the directors. So they have a heart for the prayer room and the vision for it. And then they've kind of allowed me to express it creatively, but it's been fun translating their vision and their heart behind it. So, it's Isaiah 6. I honestly never even fully read Isaiah 6, so I wasn't super knowledgeable about it. And Sharon read it to me like during our brainstorm. I was like, wow, that's so interesting. That's cool. And I was like trying to digest everything. And it was really like impactful because like in Isaiah 6, it's literally like Isaiah like lifting his eyes up to the Lord. And I think it's nice that the passage itself has a lot of imagery, you know, like the robe, the sky, the coals, the seraphim. And so yeah, after a meeting, like I digested it a little bit, and I remember Dano just like mentioning the robe and how he was like, I feel like that'd be cool to have in it. And that's not something I think I would have thought of, but we found a really cool image of a robe, and it kind of like, I knew I had that set, right? But afterwards I got home and I was like, I just want to like make sure that this graphic isn't coming from me, because I think with like creativity and like design, it's like really easy to just gravitate towards what's aesthetic and what looks cool, right?
Yeah,
because like
totally.
Who doesn't love a good photo, a good design,
a good font?
Yeah. But I was like, Lord, I want you to guide this, and I don't want it to be hard, because I think with design, because I'm also not a professional graphic designer, like I didn't go to school for it, it's like I can get really frustrated sometimes, and I'm like, am I doing this right? Or like, does this look good? Like it could take a while, and I feel it when it's coming from my own strength. Like, but I just ask the Lord. And I remember that morning I was reading Mark, and it was that verse where that blind beggar was like, you know, Son of David, have mercy on me. And the Lord like said, like, you know, he gave him his sight, you know. And I thought that was like so awesome that that's the verse that I woke up reading, because I was just reading Mark, and I was about to go start designing the PFJ graphic. And I was like, wow, like, you know, thinking about eyes. And I just wrote down my ideas about the Bible verse, about Isaiah 6, kind of like dissecting it. And I was just thinking about the kind of imagery that could reflect that experience Isaiah had, because I don't think anything, no graphic, no design, no form of art could like ever encapsulate God. Like we don't know what he looks like. We don't, you know, we have clues. Like he tells us he has an awesome robe, but like that's cool. But, like,
it's true.
But like, what else do we know? So I just thought
He's
about
fashionable too.
His garments, like heavenly garments, better than ours. Yeah, and so I was like, okay, we know we need the robe in there, and I just thought about light and the sky, because in Isaiah, it's like he was looking up, you know. And so the graphic is kind of, to me, it feels kind of mysterious, because you have the robe, the fabric, which is like, you know, kind of like translucent. You have the light and you have the sky, but it's like very mysterious. I don't know. So it came from that. And honestly, I finished a couple of renditions in one day, and I know that was all because of the Lord, because normally something like this would take me like, I don't know, a week, right? Like it's a lot of pressure to create a graphic for Passion. So yeah, that's where the design came from.
Wow.
Yeah,
Dude.
it was totally
something that I love about it too is like when I'm looking at the graphic, though, you know, you're talking about it being mysterious, it feels not like too overt of like what the meaning is. But there's such a real meaning there, but it's not so like obvious that you see it. And I feel like part of that is just like you being led by the Lord as you're designing. So how do you feel like the Lord is involved as you're designing? I mean, was that a new experience for you, like having the Lord lead you in that? You think that's going to affect how you keep designing in the future?
Yeah, I definitely think it will. I think it was like a testimony for me, because I was like, wow, Lord, your creativity is so much better than mine, and like anybody's, you know. And even just coming to the prayer room, like recently we've been experimenting in prayer labs, and we've been doing the sound of, and I think that's been so cool, because I've seen the Lord's creativity through musicians, you know, and that's even been inspiring. So I think this moment was really, or this testimony of like the prophet was very definitive, and it's gonna like mark how I design in the future. Because before, I always like pray to the Lord, you know, I don't want to work on my own strength, but it was it just makes me want to pray more. It makes me want to be guided by the Holy Spirit more.
That's so cool. And I remember after that meeting, we like sat, tried to get language, and we saw cool photos, we saw cool things, and we were like, okay, we'll come back. So we come back, and Dana are like, okay, we're gonna be here for like hours.
Yeah.
And then Allison comes with this design, and it's so epic. And you didn't just make that, but you made other like images too, like other designs that were just so beautiful. I like want to frame like some of those, because I was like, how? Like, oh my gosh, we talked. And I could just feel like, oh my gosh, like you were like talking to the Lord about it.
Yeah.
The Lord and you like made that together. You can feel that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Totally.
So that was so epic.
Thank you.
That's so true.
And we have one more question for you. Oh yeah, because you've been in our prayer room for like a year, and not even.
I think in 2023 I started serving.
Yeah.
And then like in 2022 I started coming to church. So yeah, kind of like a year.
Oh my gosh. And your testimony is just wild. And I think you are how old?
24.
24. And I think you represent so many young adults who have this creative talent and gifting inside of them, coming from, you didn't grow up Christian. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your testimony?
Yeah. I'd love to. So I didn't grow up Christian. I grew up like kind of Catholic, kind of like, but not like, like a devoted Catholic, right? We just go to church like on Easter or whatever. And I got my confirmation done and all that stuff, but like I never experienced God there. And, in high school, like, like the rebellious time, it's a rebellious time in everyone's life. I feel like I just kind of, I got really influenced by the world. I got really influenced by my friends. It's like, it made me realize how easily influenced we are as humans. And I totally like did not have God in mind, not like one bit. And but I was hungry for something to fill me. I had this emptiness, and it, it like seeped through so much that like I'd be depressed, like I'd be anxious, or like I'd find other things in the world to try to fill me up, like friendships or like parties or whatever. And, my sister actually was the one who first became Christian, and it was like her testimony so awesome. Like it was like a radical conversion. So we were all just kind of like shocked, but I was still like, no, like, I don't want what you have. Like you, like, whatever, like this is probably a phase or whatever. And, I went through a lot of anxiety in college, and I was like really desperate, and I sought the Lord, and I felt like I felt better. Right. But in total honesty, I was a lukewarm Christian. So I was doing a lot of things. I was still looking like the world, but, praise God, I was getting to know him. Like I was like growing in a relationship with him. But the way I was able to, actually tell that I was a lukewarm Christian was when I got like really saved in 2021 at this church. So I was going through like anxiety and panic. And at that point, like maybe a year before that happened, I was kind of, again, just like pushing the Lord away. Like it was the pandemic, and I was like, I don't know why this is happening. I felt really frustrated. And I was pushing the Lord away, and I was just like ready to just like kind of go back in the world. I was really deceived by a lot of like social justice movements, like with a lot of beliefs that do not align with God. But I didn't know. So I was like totally for it. And I came to this church, and Pastor Nets gave this sermon that was just like spot on. Like he mentioned social justice movements. And I just like broke down, and I was like, I need to believe the word of God. I need to believe the Bible because I haven't been. So it was like this like clarity. And
I remember when you told me, I was like, oh my gosh, because we know PNG, we call Pastor Nets PNG because he's also my dad, but I can't call him dad at work. So we call him PNG. And I remember like he is very black and white just about so many things. So when you mentioned that, I was like, oh my gosh, but you actually, it was like what you needed.
Yeah.
And do you feel like young adults are also like longing for that? Because, we're talking in these series about passion for Jesus and what the Lord's doing, and he did it in you,
Right.
like, and so, and now you're a creative director in our prayer room, I'm sure you never expected
I did not expect
that.
this.
But I'm like, dang, like, I don't know, like, what would you say to like young adults who find themselves in the same place as you, or even something that, they can find at Passion, like, what, I don't know.
Yeah. I think that, like you said, that was a timely message. And obviously, like, you can shift your heart towards offense. But like when you realize that Jesus isn't about like rules and stuff, and you realize that he's the only thing that could like fill your void up, it like breaks you, And I think that young adults need that. Like, I mean, anybody, like even high schoolers, like I think everybody struggles with emptiness. And this prayer room, just like encountering Jesus, being in the prayer room, it's been so refreshing. It's not like anything else, even just like hanging out with friends, or like it doesn't fill you. It's nice, but like being in the presence of God is just, it's really transformative, like he changes your mind, he changes your thoughts, he changes your opinions. And like you see how like your life just keeps getting better, you know? Like obviously everybody has struggles, like you go through trials, but once you've like tasted God, you don't want to go back. So, and I think Passion for Jesus is like the perfect time to just be in his presence and learn about him. And I think those moments in worship were really powerful for me last year. For me, I broke off a lot of anxiety and fear because that's something I dealt with. So yeah, I definitely recommend anyone like who's a young adult to come to our prayer set on Wednesdays, you know, just to seek the Lord, and he like surprises you in what he does in your life, you know?
True.
So that's been awesome.
That's amazing. Well, Allison, thank you. Honestly, thank you just for everything you do. You do such a great job.
Thank you, guys.
Even this whole setup, I feel like you get some credit for that. Like,
absolutely.
You made this look beautiful, and everything you do, you make it look so beautiful. And thanks for being here.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you for sharing your story and encouraging, you know, other people who I'm sure can relate to your story.
Yeah.
And awesome. That's our third episode.
Episode 3.